I was born yesterday. All right. Morning, everybody. Today's Daf Chav Gimel. I'd like to welcome everyone to the shir.
Thank you.
Start off with some emails. You know, like Ellie does. All right, fine. All right, 3 lines at the bottom. Taner Rabbanan. Chacham Shemeis. And away we go. Oh, welcome back. Where's Randy? Randy's not here.
No, I wonder where Alan is.
Yeah, Alan. Shout out to Alan. Taner Rabbanan Chacham Shemeis Beis Midrasho Batel. So the Chacham that he dies, and so his base medrash is Batel, right? Those people that go, they learn from him. So in his base medrash, they don't show up. That's the show signs of mourning. Av Beis Shemeis. The Av Beis Kol Batei Midrasha Shebeira Betelim. All the Batei Midrasha, so the city are Betelim. Close the doors. Nichnas in the Beis HaKnesses, but nevertheless they still go to the Beis HaKnesses. Mashanin is Mekayim, and then people change their usual seats. Hayesh mitzafan, yeshim b'darum, hayesh mitzdarum, yeshim mitzafan. Those who normally sit in the north will sit in the south. Those who normally sit in the south end of the Beis HaKnesses will sit in the north. Nasi shemes. If you have the nasi that dies, batei midrashos kulam b'telim. All the batei midrashos are batel. Ubnei knesses. Nichnas the Beis HaKnesses. Those people usually go to Beis HaKnesses. They go there on Shabbos. They cut it in Shiva and they read 7 Aliyahs, the Yates, and then they leave, right? Because they have to read for the Sefer Torah, right? Just reading Rashi real quick. Rashi says, "V'karim in Shiva," right? The Sefer Torah. They mispal Yachim Beis HaKnesses. Ala kolecha v'yachim mispal Beis, right? They don't daven in their house. Rather, they daven in their houses, but they come to shul for the Kriyas Torah. So this is what happens with the Av Beis Din dies. The Nasi, excuse me, thank you. The Nasi, right? That was the third.
So they don't bring the Torah.
So they're all in Shiva.
Right. Everyone is, the community is right. Now, Rabbi Shimon Karcha, not just, okay, you guys are off, but you can go ahead and there's spatzir around. Ella Yeshvin v'daimin, rather they sit and they're quiet, they're at home, and they're thinking about this morning that they're in, that they lost the Nasiv. And they do not say Shmua in the words of Torah or words of Agadah. And the Beis Abel, however, Amar al Rabbi Hanania ben Gamliel Shaya Omer Shmua ve'Agad Beis Abel. That when he was sitting in the Beis Abel, right? So he would say over different, I guess, halachas and agadas in his household. So he says Zmutter, right? That was his sheep. Taner Rabbanan, 5 lines in the top. No, 6 lines. No, 5 lines. 3, 6. All right, fine. Talking about an Avel Shabbos Rishona Eino Yaitse, the first Shabbos, so he does not leave. He does not leave his house. He didn't Pesach Beso. Shnia, the second Shabbos, I guess the week after the Veils. Shnia Yaitse Ve'enu Yeshiv and Kamo. He goes, but he doesn't sit in his normal seat. Shlishis in the third Shabbos Yeshiv and Kamo Ve'enu Medaber. Third, he goes there, he sits in his normal seat, but he doesn't really talk. Right, here's a good source that one is allowed to go ahead and talk in shul, right? So he says, "Yesh Kamo Ve'enu Medaber." Yeah, the Ravis, Harei B'chol Adam. The Ravis is like everybody else. That is Medaber.
He says he changes the seat in my Shabbos, which is nowadays.
All right, and the second week, and the second week, yeah, right, yeah. And Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Lo yitzrichu lo Shabbos Rishona. No, the first week of Shiva, you don't have to say it as it comes to the shul. Lo yatzah mi Pesach be'Beso. Shari hakol nichnas in the Beso l'nachma. Everyone comes right on Shabbos to be menachem him, so he stays home. Ella Shnia, the second Shabbos, and he yetzer Pesach be'Beso. Then the second week he still doesn't leave. Shlishis, the third one, yetzer yeshiv kamo. He goes, but he doesn't sit in his normal seat. And Ravis in the fourth Shabbos, I guess towards the end of Shloshim, yeshiv kamo ve'ein medaber. And then he doesn't go ahead and sit his normal. He sits his normal place, but he's not medaber like he, as he would normally would. And a chamishis hareu b'chol adam. Then once the fifth Shabbos comes around, then he's basically like everybody else. Taner Rabbanan, kol shleishim yaim l'nesuin.
So how do we hold, according to the Divrei Abenko, that he may sit in his regular place?
Well, look, I think by Shabbos we're normally not right.
I think he holds on Shabbos, you sit in your regular place,
right?
But not the rest of the week.
But not the rest of the week.
Right. But I mean, and this is a little different. I mean, I don't think we have different levels of the first week or second week.
Through Shloshim.
Most people do it for the whole year.
So the whole year, change the seat.
No, no.
Tana Rabbanan,
I get kicked out of my seat for a year.
Kol Shloshim Yom, then it's do it. So all 30 days, right? When one is a Shloshim, he's forbidden to go ahead and get married. However, Mesa Isha, if his wife passed away, then Aser Lisa Isha Acheres is forbidden to even marry somebody else. Until already 3 regalim passed. In other words, he should go ahead and sort of mourn his wife by the next 3 regalim that he's alone and not with his new wife. No, no, 2 of them also. However, Shlishi Mutter, but he's allowed to go ahead and get married before the third regal. And if he doesn't have any children, he's mutter to go ahead to get married immediately. Because by not being married, he's not trying to fulfill the mitzvah of Pruvavu, right? So the machlokes in terms of what does la'alter mean, right? La'alter doesn't mean after Shiva, after 7 days, or does after 30 days. And we'll soon see a similar mitzvah. So if one has, let's say, one's wife passes away and he has young children, right? He's allowed to go ahead and marry immediately because he has young children in order to basically help raise the children. One time there's a Maisa with the wife of Yosef HaKohen. The Amr La'chaisa. So his wife died, and he told her sister, but based on Klaros, Mamash at the Shiva, go ahead and raise, basically, start taking care of your sister's children. And basically, I'm going to go ahead and marry her. Nevertheless, he did not marry her until Zman Meruba. And my Zman Meruba, what does it mean? A long period of time. So, after 30 days. So, in other words, yeah,
That was quick.
yeah. So at least he waited until after Shiva. He waited until after the full Shloshim, and that's when he married her. So that was the case. So the Gemara makes the case. So when he marries her, right, he waited to. So basically, probably the machlokes by the poskim is right. In this case, it calls it he waited as man meruba. So as man meruba really mean la'alter, right, which was immediately. In other words, one can marry after 30 days, or does really la'alter mean after 7 days one can go ahead and marry? And then in this case, he waited as man meruba, which was 30 days. Fine. Taner Rabbanan kol shloishim yom legiyutz. All for during the shloshim, during the 30 days after one's relative passes away, so it's forbidden to him to wear freshly laundered, freshly pressed clothes. Whether they are old, they're new, or they're old and they're pressed, right? Then you can't wear it. Or they're old ones that came from the dry cleaners. And Rebbe Yomer, Lo Asr Ela Kelim Chadashim Bilvad. Rebbe is Shita number 2. He says no, they only forbid new clothing, right? But newly pressed clothing. But if it's something that came from the dry cleaners that was older, but you freshly pressed, you can go ahead and wear it during Shloshim. And there comes a third opinion, Rabbi Shimon Aimer. He says even that Lo Asr Ela Kelim Chadashim Levanim Bilvad. The only thing we answered was new clothing, new white pressed clothing. But colored clothing is okay. And Abaye nothing but Garda Disarbala Karebi. So Abaye went out, right? He went out in a Bagar Salva. Basically, it was a white pressed. It was an old white pressed clothing, tunic, whatever it was, right? He wore that during the Shloshim, and he held like Rebbe because Rebbe said the only prohibition of freshly pressed clothes is new, but old is okay. Now he's wearing old one. And Rava Nafik Bichimutzasa Rumisa Shumkasa Chadasi. And Rava even had during when he was in Shloshim, he wore a red, right, new. A freshly pressed garment, and he held Rabbi Shimon, who says the prohibition only holds to white new linens. But since this was colored new linens, there was no prohibition to wear shloshim, and therefore Rava wore it during shloshim.
But this is only through shloshim.
This is only through shloshim.
But we don't.
Like I said at the beginning, this is not halacha l'maisa. We're not discussing what we hold. This is the what the Gemara says. You have to get a look in the Shulchan Aruch in terms of what they bring down. Yes. Fine. So we had over there the discussion of what Shabbos, the effect of Shabbos on Shiva, right? So we said Shabbos counts as one of the days, but it's not mafsik. It doesn't stop the count. Now, so Bnei Yehuda, Bnei Gilila. So the people in the region of Yehuda and those of the Gal, Hani Amrin, there was machlekes. Yay, turn the page. Yeshed is b'Shabbos. One says there is avelos b'Shabbos. The Hani Amri is b'Shabbos, and the others say no, there is no avelos b'Shabbos. So man, the one who says there is a Veilus on Shabbos. Why Diktani says Oila? It counts. No, it's the Yesh Veilus Shabbos because it's one of the days. Oila, the Shabbos is one of the 7 days of Shiva. And man, there ain't a Veilus Shabbos. One says no, it's not. There's no. You don't do a Veilus on Shabbos. Why? Diktani Einam Afsekes. Because it says over there, it has to tell us that it doesn't stop, right, the Avelis. Now, if Itaka was that there was Avelis in Shabbos, of course it doesn't cancel the Avelis, right? The Yontif cancels Avelis. So the Mishnah had to tell us it doesn't cancel the Avelis, right? So if it had to tell me it doesn't cancel the Avelis, obviously there is no Avelis, because if there was Avelis no egg, then you wouldn't even have to tell me it doesn't cancel, because there is Avelis in it. So he's talking that's a yesh avelis b'Shabbos. So if you would think that there's avelis b'Shabbos, hashta avelis nahaga afsika b'bayit. Like I just said, if you think there's avelis on Shabbos, so now that you're doing avelis, would you have to tell me that's not mafsik, right? Like we just explained. V'ela hadiktani ayla. So it says ola, right? It's counted. So how could it be counted as no avelis? So I said. Since in the Seifa we want to see to halacha that what we said over there that it does not count ein olim, right? So therefore, it taught in the Reisha it does count, but it really wasn't a chiddush because we know it doesn't, right? And then because we know it's not a chiddush, you just said it for the case of the Seifa. There's a Shabbos, and according to the opinion rules, that there is a Veilus Shabbos. Hak tani einam afsekes. The reason it says einam afsekes, but should the Mishnah Seifa mafsikin. So it says yesh Veilus, right? The one who holds that there is a Veilus on Shabbos, it says einam afsekes. Why did it tell me einam afsekes, right? Right? It's, of course, einam afsekes because there is a Veilus. So it says no, Mishun the Mishnah Seifa because the Seifa says when it comes to Yantam mafsikin satana Reisha einam afsekes. So therefore, the Reisha says also doesn't cancel the Veilus, but there is no chiddush that to say that Shabbos doesn't cancel Veilus because according to that shita, there is a Veilus on Shabbos. So lema kitanai. Let's say this is a machlokas tanai. If the person has, let's say even during the week, his relative is mutalafanav or is awaiting burial. So eichel v'azacher. So go ahead and so the let's say the mace is in one house. Mm-hmm. So you want to go ahead and take care of your needs, your physical needs. Go ahead and eat another house. If he doesn't have another house, he eats in his friend's house, right? So he doesn't have two houses. If he doesn't have either doesn't have friends or his friends doesn't have a house, right? He makes a mechitza of 10 tvachim. He doesn't have something to make a mechitza between him and the dead body. Go ahead and turn around and eat. And he does not go ahead and recline and eat. He doesn't eat meat. Doesn't eat wine. Right, those are signs of from mourning or sadness. Vein mevarich does not make a bracha. Vein mezamin doesn't make a zimun afterwards. Vein mevarich alav, and he doesn't leave or they can't use him for the zimun. Vein mezamin alav, right? So he's not mevarich before, and they're not mezamin for him. He's not mezamin for them. Upater mikriya shma. He's pater from kriya shma, minat tefillah, from all the mitzvahs from kriya shma and tefillah and putting on tefillah. We call mitzvahs all the mitzvahs in the Torah, right? Because he should be. He's an owning, right? He should be involved. And even though he's efshar lasos, the acher or someone else handling it, or he can do both. Nevertheless, we want the person's priority and nothing else to get in the way. So he's part of the mitzvahs. Ubis Shabbos. Now remember we brought this thing as machlokas by Shabbos whether there is avelos on Shabbos. Ubis Shabbos.
And we're still talking about Anitas, right?
Yeah, in this case, yes, right. He was not buried yet. Ubis Shabbos, and if this occurred on Shabbos, then Mesev, then he can go ahead and recline. V'aychel, and he can eat. V'aychel basar, v'shes yayin. He can have meat and wine. V'varech, mezamin, alav, v'chai v'kriyasha, tefillah. He can do all the mitzvahs, right? He bench, he washes, he benches. They can join the zumin, right? There's kriyashma, tefillin. Well, not tefillin on Shabbos, but all mitzvahs are. Are all mitzvahs? I just called it out, right? So and Rabbi Gamliel Omer, he says, since you're chayv in these, you're chayv in all. So what's he adding? What's chayv kula? Rabbi Yechanan tashmish hamita ikabanayu. The difference is tashmish hamita relations. So my lav is not machlekes. The Mar Sava Yesh is Shabbos. The one who holds, the knows the Tanakama held, right, that there was no tashmish mita because he holds there is a din of avelis on Shabbos. There was no tashmish. Well, Mar Sava ain't of Shabbos, and then the second opinion would hold that there is no tashmish on Shabbos, right? That there is no avelis on Shabbos, and therefore the tashmish is mutter. So God says no, mimai. Dilma ad kan loy kamar Tanakama hasam. The reason why the Tanakama says it's usher elamishub the mesa mutalafan because the mamish the mesa is in the house. Aval hachadein mesa mutalafan avlo. But maybe if it was just during Shiva, maybe a mutter according to Tanakama. So there's no proof. There's no availus, right? That he holds the availus, and they mesa mutalafan of la vial kain lo, and therefore. Right, therefore, in this case, he couldn't. So look at Ragamliel Hasam, and we say over there, Ragamliel says, "Dakati lechal avelus alel." Now, maybe he would say that according to Rabbi Gamliel, that since the avelus did not, since it didn't start yet, right? The avelus didn't start because he's still an owning, right? It didn't start yet, so therefore, Tashish is mutter, right? Aval hacha, but over here in our case, in the standard case of let's say Shabbos is the fourth day of avelus, right? Aval hacha the chal avelus alel. But over here, maybe Rabbi Gamliel say in a regular dinos when the body was already buried and then there's Shabbos, maybe you would hold, and then Tashish is usher in that case because maybe there is Avelis in Shabbos. So therefore, this brisa is not necessarily a machlekes as to whether Avelis is going on Shabbos or not. And we will stop here and continue with the Shem on Sunday, 6:45 top line. Oh, that's early. I didn't know it was that.